Today it's all about the straddle handstand. First, to understand the straddle, we need to learn about its alignment, how to balance in the straddle, and also how to get into it from the floor, from standing or kneeling down. And finally, how do we move our legs in and out of straddle without much trouble? Let's get to it. So your first approach of trying the straddle should always be with the wall. That way we have a safe entry, a safe exit, and the balance isn't too hard. The way we get into it is chest facing wall. We start from a straight position with feet together, and then we open our legs into a straddle and just try to find some balance there and have the feet feel light and more weight on your hands instead of on the wall. Let's try right now. You don't have to walk super close, just enough space where you can open your legs into a straddle and have a tiny pike and still be able to balance. So from here, you open your feet, open your legs, and then you push your hips out simultaneously. From here, you push the floor away from you, keep looking down to the floor, and you bring your hips forward and close your chest. And if you do that and lift your legs slightly, you should be able to lift your legs off the wall and you should start balancing in your straddle now. When you're ready, you can bring your feet back together. You can walk out a little bit and slide your feet down. So the first step is getting into the straddle position and holding here for 15 seconds or so. Doesn't have to be exactly 15, but you want to accumulate as much time here as you can for now. While I'm doing this, I'm pulling my legs into my hips, I'm locking my knees, my feet are pointed, and I'm pushing the floor away from me while keeping my chest in. Essentially, I'm finding some counterbalance with my hips and my legs that's a little bit behind me. And after 15, I bring my feet back together and I come out. So that should be your first step towards getting that straddle. Just understanding how it feels like, what the balance feels like with the wall, and opening your legs as much as you can towards your limit and feeling the legs helping you with that balance and control while you're upside down. Getting more time under your belt, getting that straddle really in your muscle memory will be the key to an easier entrance when you do it without the wall. Now let's try some transitions on the wall while moving our legs open and close and then refining our balance and control while having support with balance. Let's get to it. You want to leave some space again for your hands. You don't want to walk too close. You always want to start in straight feet together so you know exactly where you're at. From here, we open our legs to a straddle. Again, hips are coming out a little bit, not too much. Closing your chest, hollowing your chest, and then bring your feet back together. You can slightly touch the wall. Just let your toes slide and open again and close again. If you're doing it correctly, your feet should be very light or even off the wall. Basically, you're establishing a strong center, your shoulders and your hips, and your legs are moving from that center, open to close. Open to close, but slowly. Take it slow. Take it one rep at a time. You see my hips are over my shoulders here, and when I slide my legs out, my hips go forward, creating a slight pike, and I'm counterbalancing with my hips and my legs, forming a slight triangle. And when I go back, my hips go back to center, and hips go out, shoulders open. If you're using the wall and you're trying to slide your feet out, but you get stuck to the wall like this,
That means all your weight is at the wall. Notice how my chest is touching the wall and pretty much my legs, my feet, they're super close to the wall. So instead of doing that, you want to bring your hip forward, pull your chest in, making your torso straight. From here, your feet should feel light, and there should be a lot more weight on your shoulders, on your hands, instead of lying flat like this without any engagement and without centering your weight onto the right place. So you want to pull your chest in, bring your hip forward just slightly while opening the shoulders and extending. From here, you should be able to find very light feet. So avoid being flat like a pancake on the wall and have more engagement, but direction is the most important thing. Shoulders open, hip forward, hips in front, over your shoulders, and chest in, and you push.
So now you're able to have some control, have some autonomy with your legs, with the wall from straddle to straight. Now let's try it without the wall, just some entries to straddle. This is the way to do it. So the starting position, you want to place your hands in front of you. So your arms are not directly straight from 12 to 6. They're at a slight angle, at a slight slant. You want your knees together, feet together. And from here, you basically want to extend your legs, straighten your knees, and then open your legs to the side, both legs into the straddle. So you want to do that in one simple movement. So let's just start from jumping, extending our legs first, and pushing. Essentially, you want to transfer weight from your feet to your hands. So now my hands are light, my feet are heavy, and you want to jump and just bring more weight on your hands while bringing your hips over your shoulders and your legs high off the floor. Let's try that again. Notice the shoulders will want to go forward and collapse. So you want to minimize that by bringing your shoulders in the opposite direction and bring your hips high. The higher your hips can go, the more your shoulders can open. Open your shoulders, legs up. So I'm simply adding the legs opening. So are there things that you want to avoid in your straddle entry? Absolutely. The things that I see most beginners do are bending their legs as they go up or jumping high but not sustaining that height and the legs dropping right away. Let me show you what it is. So what I mean by bending the legs is going up like this. So you're kind of like in a chicken leg mode and you're not leading with your feet like so. When you jump up, you want to extend the leg straight and lead with your feet. That is the outest point of your legs, and that will give your legs the most direction and lift. If you're going up and bending your legs, it's a little bit too unpredictable, and you never know how you're going to land or hold that position. Another one is going up and coming right back down. So let me show you. Up and down. So essentially just hopping up and coming right back down. So there's no difference between just throwing yourself up in the air and then letting yourself fall and land. Right now, what we want to do is go up and stay up. So there needs to be a sustained engagement when we lift off and stay in the air. This is why the holds on the wall are important, because it teaches us that feeling of that hold and the balance. So go up and feet lift, lift, lift. They keep lifting.
all the way to your destination. If not, they go here and they lose air, they lose momentum, and they lose power. Up and up and up. All the way here if you want, but not always necessary. So there you go. Some mistakes you want to avoid. But mistakes are good because you can learn from them. Without them, you never know what you should do more of or less of. So make the mistakes, but make the adjustments the next time around. So it's also good to understand the anatomy of the straddle. So here I'm in a very high straddle, and I'm almost like in a straight position because my alignment is relatively straight. And if I drop it towards the lowest point, I have to pike a lot and bring my hips forward and open my shoulders, almost in like a Mexican style, where I'm having more angles, I'm arching more, and the hold is definitely stronger, but I'm also wasting more energy. Whereas if I just lift my legs a little bit more, I can balance a lot easier, less strength involved, but definitely more balance and more trickier if you're not used to it. So the question is, which one should I be doing? I would say somewhere in between. If you're too low, you have to depend on a lot of compression, a lot more strength, a lot more flexibility. If you're too high, you have to be pretty good at balancing already. So somewhere between, you'll have the best of both worlds. Let's try that. This is somewhere in between. This is pretty high. This is pretty low. And this is just somewhere in the middle. So usually when I practice the straddle entries, I only like to do it without the wall because if you're doing it against the wall and if your legs are touching the wall, that means you're too far forward. And in reality, if you're doing it without the wall, you're flipping over. So you don't want to give yourself that option to touch the wall. And when you don't have the wall, you're basically falling automatically. So try it without the wall and see what happens. But basically, you want to get the timing right, you want to get the momentum correct, and the jump and the hold to be there already when you're going in. But there is one way you can practice the straddle against the wall. We're starting in a straight position first, feet together, straight hold, completely off the wall. You're just in front of the wall. From there, you open your legs slowly, keeping the engagement alive. And opening to straddle, and you want to hold it there for 3 to 5 seconds, and then slowly descend. Basically, you're doing a negative, but against the wall, and you're not touching the wall at all. So let's give it a try. First, you can kick up to the wall, and then bring your feet together. From here, make sure your balance is already pretty good, and you open your legs from the middle. And you engage your legs and you try to stop here. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you keep opening your legs and slowly descend. So let me do a bad one where there's no engagement and I'm just simply opening my legs for the sake of it without any balance involved or care about my weight distribution. Kick up again first. So from here, if I don't have any engagement, I open my legs, they will just come down very abruptly and I fall right down. So that's something you want to avoid. Whenever we're opening our legs, we're going from the top and opening to the outside. We don't want to be kind of like chopsticks or like two sticks where you're holding the top and then you're letting go and things go in free fall. We want to open like a scissor where there's strength in the middle and you open, open, open while keeping that symmetry alive. So that's basically how you first train for the straddle position. First, we understand its alignment, how to hold with the support of the wall. Second, we can move our legs with the wall and just try to feel that balance and readjustment as our legs are moving.
Are our shoulders strong enough and stable enough to keep that position? And then third, we try to enter the position without the wall from the floor. With the knowledge of having the wall holds, having that fresh muscle memory in your body, the entries should be a lot more obvious. Whenever we do entries, we need to know what the end is like. The end is the hold. So we want to burn the candle from both ends, do the entries and do the holds so that everything can connect when we put it all together. Hope you guys liked the video. If you have any questions regarding the straddle position, whether it's the alignment, the entry, or the hold, please let me know in the comments. And in my opinion, this is one of the easiest positions to hold, so you should be able to get this in no time. Enjoy training, guys. Until next time, bye-bye.